Good evening. It is time for today's Tax Talk. I am your host. I'm attorney Stephen Leahy. As the thumbnail says, it ain't over till it's over. You know, the bank statement thing is still coming, and we're going to still talk about it. I hope you join us. Uh-oh. Gotta do that again. Okay, it is today is Wednesday, the first day of December, the year of our Lord 2021, and the bank statement reporting is not going away, even though everybody opposes. The public seems to oppose it. The Republicans seem to oppose it. 21 Democratic congressmen came out some time ago and opposed it, asked them to remove it from the House bill, and they did. Several senators have come out against it, and yet everybody's pushing, the administration's still pushing to have it included. This is a central part for their government, and it is a violation of our privacy rights. But they don't care. It's not about your privacy. It's not about the American people. It's about power and money. They need this reporting in order to get the money that they need to run the government that they want to run. It's as simple as that. And again, we keep this Build Back Better plan is faltering. We can hope, but we don't. And this is the old. We got to pass it to find out what's in it. There's so many things in this. We don't know what's in it, and we really have to find that out before anybody wants to pass anything. Let's do a thorough analysis of the bill to find out what's in it. I read some other crazy things about the bill. I don't know if it's in it or not, and nobody seems to know. I know when they passed it in the House, I had to search very hard to find out if this provision, the bank reporting provision, was in it, and finally came to the conclusion it was not. And now they're trying to put it back in the Senate. And who is pushing for this? Well, let's find out. The big push. The big push. This is. The big push is for Janel Yellen. Janel Yellen is the Secretary of the Department of Treasury, runs the IRS. And she came out today, I think it was today or yesterday, at a Senate committee hearing. And so Janel Yellen still supports making banks give the IRS new customer data. Not just new customer data, all customer data. I think what they mean by that is new. It's new data that they're going to get from not just new customers, but all customers. So let's find out. This was from actually yesterday. Treasury Secretary Janel Yellen said on Tuesday that she still supported an embattled proposal that would require banks to turn over additional information about their customers' accounts to the Internal Revenue Service, arguing that the proposal would help ensure that the wealthy were not dodging taxes. I think there was a new study out today, too, that this Build Back Better plan is not really costing the wealthy anything. There's really nothing in there against them. They're increasing SALT back up to $80,000 in deductible, so almost everybody. And so every time they take away with one hand from the wealthy, they give with another. Just the way it's always worked that way. The bank report. Why do we think it's going to be different this time? It's not going to be different this time. The bank reporting idea had been central to Biden administration's plan to shrink the $7 trillion tax gap. I got to say it again. The boogeyman, the tax gap that's made up It's largely fictitious. The shortfall in taxes that are owed but not collected, and help pay for the $2.2 trillion social policy and climate legislation. You mean the $5 trillion? They just cut it in half in the number of years that they reported on it to call it $2.2 trillion. It is a $5 trillion legislation that Democrats are trying to pass this year after fierce backlash from banks and Republicans and also their own party. As I mentioned, 21 Democratic congressmen came out against it together, and said, no, we're not going to back this, who derided the idea as an invasion of privacy. It was dropped from the bill that House Democrats passed this month. Again, it wasn't the Democrats who made it pass without the 13 Republicans voting for this Build Back Better plan in the House, it would not have passed. So there were not enough Democrat votes to pass this with that bank statement reporting in it. So it wasn't just the Republicans. The Biden administration has been hoping that the more modest version of the proposal could make it into the Senate's version of the bill. Ms. Yellen said she still backed the concept of having banks share data for accounts with total annual deposits or withdrawals of more than $10,000. So they changed it from 600 to 10,000. Oh, well, it's such a bigger number. It is a bigger number, but still encompasses almost every American and almost every bank account, with exceptions for wage earners or people who receive federal benefits like Social Security. How's the bank supposed to know? I mean, they can know the Social Security because it comes from the Social Security. But how do they know if someone's a wage earner, if someone has maybe I'm a wage earner and I have my own business? I do support it, Ms. Yellen said in the Senate Banking Committee hearing. I think it's important that the IRS have visibility into opaque income streams, and that's an important way of improving tax compliance. I always like to liken this to the compliance to our criminal laws. Ideally, there is no crime. Ideally, we can stop crime before it happens. And it would be so much easier if our police officers and other law enforcement apparatus could just go into anybody's house and take a look around. It would reduce crime. Obviously, it would reduce crime. And again, I'm going to say this. At what cost would it reduce crime? But it would reduce crime. And here, would this raise more money? Absolutely, it will raise more money. At what cost? At the cost of our civil liberties. That's at the cost. But, and that's where I have to object. This is why I object. Okay, so Republicans insisted that the IRS could not be trusted with additional data because of recent leaks of taxpayer information and the agency's history of targeting political groups. Both of those are true. It is true, isn't it? We know that they released that billionaires and millionaires' tax returns, those wealthiest Americans' tax returns were just released to the public. How did they get them? They must have come from the IRS. So if they can't protect their information, how are they going to protect your information? And we're not even talking about the everyday occurrence of cyber attacks for information from the IRS and their data bank. Every day. And we haven't even reached the targeting political groups. Certainly my constituents can't condone this aspect of the Build Back Better plan that would give more authority and even tenfold increase to the budget to snoop on more Americans, audit more Americans, invade our privacy, said the Tennessee senator. Ms. Yellen said the plan was not an attempt to snoop on taxpayers. Of course it is. Or collect detailed information about their banking activity. How could it not be about snooping? If they're looking at data they can't get now and they want to get access to the data, I think by definition that's snooping. The burden of financial institutions was minimal. The banks don't think it's minimal. That's why they're objecting. They've come out with report after report objecting to this. And there was no attempt to target income earners whose actual incomes are below $400,000. There was no attempt to target. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean they're not in the targets. That's not who they're shooting at, but that's who's going to get hit. And even by your own statements. Although the chances of the bank reporting requirements making it into the final legislation appear slim, Democrats are counting on an investment of $80 billion to expand the enforcement capacity of the IRS to generate $400 billion of additional tax revenue over a decade. That estimate, which is more optimistic than the projections of the congressional budget, more than double the projections, or about double, I should say, allows the Biden administration to claim that the new spending will not add to the national debt. These are the very resources that are needed to make sure the wealthiest individuals and corporations particularly comply with the tax laws and pay their fair share. What's due, Ms. Yellen said. They already pay their fair share, don't they? Maybe that's what we think that they do. Another good story here. Here I wanted to bring this up because here's Charlie Crist, of a Democrat from Senate, a congressman from Florida. From Florida. He's saying Crist urges Senate leadership to exclude IRS reporting proposal in Build Back Better package. So he thinks that they're considering it, and he's got to come out and say, hey, don't do that. I can't support that. In a letter addressed to the Senate Finance Committee, Crist prompted the members to avoid adding divisive IRS account reporting requirements. As Florida families are feeling the burden of higher prices for taxes and other goods, they're counting on Congress to pass the Build Back Better Act to lower costs and support families. That's not what the Build Back Better plan is going to do. But besides, Crist, the last thing anyone needs is the IRS to be keeping an eye on an checking account. The measure would require banks to provide data to the IRS on accounts with total annual deposits or withdrawals worth more than $10,000, not including wages or federal benefits such as Social Security, according to the New York Times. We just read that story. That measure, backed by the Biden administration, was excluded in the House version of the bill. Crist was the first Democrat to publicly oppose the IRS reporting provision, breaking with President Joe Biden. Now he's urging members of the Senate to do the same. As you undertake the critical work under advancing the Build Back Better Act, I ask that you avoid adding divisive IRS account reporting requirements to the package. I strongly support President Biden's efforts to increase tax compliance and that the wealthiest 1% of the Americans pay their fair share, but granting the IRS unprecedented access to bank accounts is not the path forward. Agreed. I have to agree. One more article, and that was from Representative Congresswoman Nancy Mays from South Carolina. And she calls it a socialist. Biden's socialist Build Back Better bolstering IRS to spy on Americans' bank accounts. Because she sees it's happening too. And these people are rising up against it again. And we have to be vigilant. Because if we're not vigilant, they will include it in the bill. They keep taking it out and putting it back in. It's been taken out and put back in on many occasions already. So we have to be vigilant on this and avoid and don't let this go into this law. If the law gets passed, let's try to stop the law from being passed at all. We have the debt ceiling fight coming up, I think, on Saturday. We have the reconciliation bill, and all of this is coming up too. So we should oppose raising the debt ceiling. We should oppose giving the Congress more money. That should all be opposed. We should oppose this Build Back Better plan. We should have opposed the other plan that they did, but that's already passed. And there's again, let's find out what's in that bill before we start agreeing to another bill. We already know. We're just finding out what's in the American Rescue Plan that was passed in March. We're just finding out so many of those provisions, like the Cash App reporting, very much like this reporting. And so that's what's happening. So let's oppose it. I'm opposing it. I hope you help me oppose it too. So now remember, I'm going to ask you to like and share this content. It's important that others see this. We need to get the word out, and I need you to like and subscribe. It's very important. Thank you so much for those who do. Also, I wanted to point out that if it's too late for you for this because they're reporting, because you probably know this, the IRS can already subpoena your bank accounts. They can get access to your bank account by just asking for it. If they have a reason to believe that there might be something there that you've done something wrong, they can get a subpoena. It happens to my clients all the time. Their bank accounts get subpoenaed, and the IRS takes a look around. Okay, so they have access to it, so it's not like they don't have access. So they want us all to just put it out there now. without objecting. So I help my clients fight the IRS. I got a call today from someone. They didn't know enough to hire me, but I still wanted to talk to them and give them some pointers on how they might be able to get the levy removed from their account, because they were getting a levy removed. They have a levy on their wages, and they have severe hardships. So is there a way for the IRS to remove those levies? There are, and I help them do that. You can learn about that in my book, Deal with Your IRS Problem Today. If you are fighting the IRS and you need to know how to do it, where do you start? You start with my book, Deal with Your IRS Problem Today. Go to freeirsbook.com and get a copy of the book, Deal with Your IRS Problem Today, freeirsbook.com. If you want a hard copy, I'm going to ask you to pay a little bit for shipping and handling. If you don't want a hard copy, you just want electronic version, I get you access to our membership site for free. Go to freeirsbook.com, put your information in, but don't give me your credit card information, and I'll make sure that you get into the membership site and you can get a copy of this for free. So we want to help you do that. We want to help you learn how you can protect yourself from the IRS. Okay, so we want to thank you so much for joining us. I will be back here tomorrow, and we want you to join us then. Won't you join us?